With that, I'd like to introduce our program chair this morning, Terry Chan, from the CIO of William O'Neill. So a big round of applause for Terry.
Good morning. I just want to thank everybody to free up your morning to come and join this meeting. What we have today is a pretty packed agenda. It's going to be very interesting for everybody to look at how we have changed in the last couple of years, especially everybody's talking about digital transformation and how it's going to be applying to each one of us in different industries and sectors. So instead of me telling you how to do it, I'm going to let the speakers do it. So I'd like to invite our first speaker, Dr. Mahbouba from UCLA Health.
Good morning, everyone. This works, right? So, I'm going to have this slide deck. Okay. Could you move this? Okay, so I thought before I dive into the presentation, I'll tell you a little bit of a story about the background of this presentation. Little over, I believe it's 6 months ago, over 6 months ago, I put this presentation together. I was invited to speak at the CIO CESO conference. And I put the presentation together, and it was much shorter. It was like half an hour, less than half an hour. So I put a brief presentation together talking about analytics, how to build analytics infrastructure at an enterprise level, generally how to go about it, and what the future will look like from analytics perspective. And then fast forward 6 months, and I was approached by IS Associates to do a presentation. So I went back and looked at the presentation. Of course, I have a lot of material. And so I looked at the material that I developed more than 6 months ago, and I refreshed it, changed it, and added a few things here and there. But what's striking was that really what I talked about and outlined 6 months ago is still very applicable and still fresh. So the first thing, of course, that came to my mind is, wow, I'm brilliant. I predicted the future. I can predict 6 months. But, of course, I dismissed that quickly. So with all seriousness, like, why is that? And it's really the case, and you'll see at the presentation. I didn't change much. I added a few things and stuff. But I kept, for the most part, the presentation the same, in spite of the fact that the industry I am in, data analytics, is moving extremely fast. And I think it's one of the fastest moving industry right now. And it's growing, moving and growing and evolving. So I thought, well, there are micro and macro. So if you step back, really, and take a look, and I will, like, if you're listening, for example, to a symphony, and you just sit back, you sit like 4 or 5 rows, and you listen, you can understand and comprehend where the music is coming, what's the kind of, and you enjoy it better. When if you take your chair and stick it inside, like go on stage and sit and just watch the orchestra playing, it will be very confusing and moving fast, and you look at different instruments and 10 violins and stuff like that. It gets too confusing. So the trends are more stable than the actual, so the macro is much more stable than the micro. So many people get confused. They stick their head into this engine. They're moving incredibly fast and say, oh my God, I can't make sense of it. It's really just this is overwhelming. But if you really take a step back, and this applies to history, religion, and kind of a lot of other things, if you step back and look at it, it's really, things are moving at the trends, major trends and patterns, and the strategies that are associated with those trends and patterns are really moving at a much, much, much slower pace. And if you really pay attention, you can understand where all this is going. And this is, I'll share with you my attempt to, at a high level, articulate where data analytics is heading. And how, not only where it's heading, how to do data analytics at an enterprise level. And where the whole industry is heading, at least from my perspective, and I hope you find it useful. Again, one last comment before I dive in. This is a very timely presentation for me. I just literally last night I came back from Microsoft Ignite conference. It was unbelievable seeing 26,000 professionals descend on this, one of the largest conference halls in the United States, definitely. And it's just absorbing everything that Microsoft has to say, and particularly their analytics strategy. I don't know if you had an opportunity, the keynote speech was last Monday, where Satya Nadella, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, he outlined the vision for Microsoft. And at the heart of the vision for Microsoft is analytics, is AI, is artificial intelligence. He's talking about AI-first business applications. So the point that he's trying to make, and it's well known that he's directing all Microsoft resources and vision around analytics, data analytics, around big data, around advanced analytics, and particularly AI, and building the platform and the technologies that enables that vision to be integrated and delivered easily. Of course, that's the vision. And you see the manifestation of that and how the vision is evolving and what they are doing about it and the investment of billions of dollars in these technologies. It's really an amazing, amazing thing. And the vision is that everything will be infused, all applications will be infused with AI. And we'll talk about this in a second. With this, let me dive into the presentation. As I said, we'll talk about generally why this is important, and we touched on it already, how to build modern analytics platform at an enterprise level, and then where the industry is heading. Okay, so why this is important. And there's a term, you hear a lot of terms. You hear, of course, big data. You hear about all these buzzwords, the 3 V's, and someone came up with 5 V's, velocity, volume, and veracity, and so there are 3 V's and 5 V's, and you hear about data lakes, and you hear about big data, and Hadoop, and all of that, and there's a lot of confusing terms. HD Insight from Microsoft perspective, and a lot of other things. But really, if you think about it, and the term that I like the most is digital transformation. And digital transformation, the reason I like it more is bigger than analytics and bigger than artificial intelligence, and puts data analytics and artificial intelligence in business context, in customer context. It's about customer engagement. It's about business improvement. It's about process improvement, all powered by analytics, all powered by data analytics, all powered by artificial intelligence. And by the way, I use artificial intelligence in its broader sense, that includes machine learning, deep learning, cognitive computing, and all of these terms. I think, or let's agree to use it, at least for this session. There's a lot of people disagree on the terminology, but the way I'm going to use it is the overarching concept around building algorithms using mathematical, statistical techniques, and sifting through large amounts of data to make sense of this data. So if you look at the first bullet, you have many stats. I think the probably more accurate, 7 billion people and businesses, the 30 billion things, devices. Of course, you hear also about Internet of Things. That's another term being thrown at us. But so it's those, and the buzzwords change. But this is kind of try to cut through all these buzzwords. So by 2020, it's right around the corner, right? 30 billion things, devices, people, businesses, 73 billion. And I think the 30 billion is an underestimate. The 7 billion probably an accurate estimate, because obviously it's easy to. I think this will exponentially grow. People, based on current knowledge and current rate of growth of things, devices and things that are connected to the internet, I think that this is the estimate, but I think it will exponentially grow. So this is of course from Forbes. If you look at Forbes magazine, if you look at Gartner, they talk about digital business as a creation of new business designs by blurring the digital and physical worlds. They're big words, blurring the physical and digital. And Microsoft talks about mixed reality during the conference. There was a big thing, and they did a case presentation about Ford using mixed reality to build models instead of building them in clay. They use mixed reality to build car models. which is revolutionizing the design of cars. Of course, you can go much faster and with rapid iterations. So, okay, so those are key words, the blurring of digital and physical, and also the convergence of people, businesses, and things. Okay, how do you converge? Do you converge or do you merge? And we'll talk about it in a second. So if you look at it, and the reason I say that in the top line, 30 billion is an underestimation, because, well, every activity, if you leave your phone in your pocket and your location is activated, you walk around, you generate tons of data. Just the fact that you're walking around. Eating. My son is doing this whole crazy exercise thing. He has an application. He's looking at every calorie and the protein to carb mix and stuff like that. He's generating tons of data. You exercise. Every activity will generate tons of data. So that's the point. Eating, shopping, communicating, traveling, just enormous amount of data. So what the implication? Of course, huge amount of data, pretty obvious, being generated. The way, if you look at the reports that you get now, it's, if you really look at it, it's just a combination of aggregation, summarization, simple math, and visualization. Think about most of the reports that you get today, right? And these kind of general categories. You rarely have a number that is generated by artificial intelligence on algorithm, complicated algorithm. But the point is, that's where we are heading. So instead of seeing number generated by addition, subtraction, or multiplication, or simple math, or aggregation, or categorization, that number will be presented as an outcome of a complex algorithm that looks at the interaction of multiple factors and give you a number. At the end of the day is for example, readmission. Just a number. The possibility that this patient right in front of you will be readmitted. And here's how you're going to do about it, what you need to do about it. So that's prescriptive. Anyway, so algorithms, everything will be driven by algorithms. Closer to real time, insights are embedded, and we'll talk about it some more. I don't know about the time, should I just, I'll get a warm, okay, great, I'll keep looking at you. Okay, so we talked about merging and converging. What's wrong with this picture? Look at the left-hand side. Okay, so the road is, and the definition is here. So the roads are merging, right? That's pretty clear. Merging. The sign asking the driver to do what? To merge. You should ask the drivers to converge, right? The road is merging, but you should converge, not merge. And those smart people are doing exactly that. They are merging, right? Well, are we converging or merging? We should converge, according to Gartner, but we could merge, right? If you look at the right-hand side, machines and humans are merging. And the point I'm trying to make is that really it's merging, conversion, whatever, it will be part of our lives. Analytics, artificial intelligence, advanced analytics will be part of our daily life. Every application will have embedded analytics, will have embedded artificial intelligence. So that's the kind of the point I'm trying to make here. So how do you build modern analytics platform? So traditionally, that's what we do, this traditional BI. And many organizations, I would say 90% of the organization are in this stage. So this is, you have all your different groups across the organization, from finance to operations to marketing to they ask you for data. So you just give them the data. That's the traditional BI. You build reports. It's IT-centric. I call it system of record. It's IT-centric. It's based on, of course, business input, hopefully. It's tightly governed. It's validated. And it's pushed through a portal, or either pushed or pulled. So you log into a portal, you get your report, the reports you need, and that's that. And it's the champion here, the star is the programmer analyst. It's IT focused. It's a program. You have to know SQL. You have to know a programmer language, predominantly SQL. So it's a programmer analyst. That is kind of the star here. And of course, we all know why this is not enough. It's not wrong, but it's not enough. If you don't take care of this, you'll have a problem. You cannot move. You're stuck here. If people need report to run their business, you don't have the capacity to do anything else. You're stuck. You have to deal with this, reduce the noise, and then you can move to do more, from my perspective at least, more fun stuff, which we talk about. So the next step you do, you enable the organization. After you get a handle on the basic foundational reports that your business need, and the CFO is happy, and the CEO is happy, the chief of marketing is happy, and everyone kind of, okay, now you start thinking about the next level. You roll out self-service. So self-service, what you do is, and I call it system of discovery. That vertical is you provide a tool that drag and drop, and you don't require, you take that programming edge out of analytics, and you more blend the business knowledge with the IT knowledge. Because obviously, it really takes a village to do analytics. So you enable the business, it's business-centric, IT-enabled, level of governance. The reason levels of governance and validation, because obviously, that doesn't need to be perfectly validated. It's not the system of record. People can do discovery. But if they wanted to make it as an enterprise story, make it a system of record, there's a process for migrating that into a system of record, but you let people in a small group, in a business unit, even at an individual level, if they want to answer questions, explore, and all of that. Of course, the feature of this is interactive, drill in and drill out, easy to use from a both user perspective and developer perspective. And usually it's a business analyst, and there's some level of autonomy. So there's some level of the business analyst is the champion here. So of course, it's like some technical knowledge, but not deep programming technical knowledge. And then that's kind of thank you. So what I call the system of discovery. Now, big data, you can call it big data, we can call it system of digital transformation, whatever they call it, and I keep changing the name. But back to the buzzwords. Whatever buzzword makes you happy and makes your organization happy, you can throw in data lakes, just make sure people don't drown. Whatever the term you're happy with, or your CEO is happy with and love, and read the most recent article about. But don't get distracted by all of this buzzword. So now you build business. This is now you're talking about big data. You're talking about both either big and or advanced analytics. So it's not, you could do advanced analytics on small data. It doesn't have to be big data. But I use big data, again, as an overarching kind of term for both advanced and large data, and probably kind of real-time data. So this is, again, it's business-centric, IT-enabled, levels of governance value, the same applies here. The champions here actually put out data science. It's data scientist. It's actually more will be, I think, in the future. I should have changed this word. It's citizen data science, citizen/data science. So citizen data science or data science. And the difference between citizen data science and data science, the data scientist is the data scientist is the one who generates the algorithms, generate the statistical model. And they have advanced degree in math or statistics or computer science or any of these disciplines. But that, I don't believe that this will be a small fraction. There will be a huge bottleneck, and there is very small fraction of people that are going to be in this category, data science. Most of the work will be done by citizen data scientists. And this is very important to remember. So don't get, if you look what the organization, Oracles and others are building, they build a model for you. Just you need to know how to operationalize it, how to plug it into your application, how you plug it in the system. I don't think anyone will need, very few people will need to actually, you don't have to build a data science organization for most organizations. It's very expensive, and it's just that you not only just the team, it requires layers of management that understand really at a deep level the techniques and the underpinnings of these things, but increasingly there will be repositories. It's like libraries. It's like you do programming. You don't program everything, you use libraries, right? And programmers use libraries to plug in and develop applications. Now they're going to develop everything from scratch. That's exactly the same. You will have algorithms validated, run against millions and millions of records. And you're going to use them, plug them in. And that's now like face recognition. You can go and feed pictures now on the internet to face recognition program, and it does amazing things. Many programs are, there's a lot of programs that graduate, and increasingly so. But really, the data science is a person, I mean, people with deep understanding of math, whether through computer science, statistics, or other, can be called data science, but it's increasing.
It's a tool for thinking. It's not science per se. Math is a tool for thinking.
You can definitely look at it this way. Well, when you say a tool for thinking, what do you exactly mean? When I refer to this data scientist,
Came out with an equation, m1 times m2 divided by the distance squared. You made it so darn simple, with so much data collected by people for 30 years. Kepler spent 30 years, and he reduced it to 3 rules, using mathematics and simplicity. Are they doing the same thing? That looks to me like creating data for the sake of data. What is the hypothesis? Why do you use a data?
so the data scientist, at least the thinking is that a person who has deep knowledge of what the discipline you talked about, deep knowledge of mathematics, and also knowledge of the data and the data manipulation. Okay. All right. Most important is very important from practical perspective. All of this is use case driven and not mutually exclusive. So we are not, and I've seen many organizations make this really significant mistake, is a shiny object syndrome. They go all the way to the right. And the CFO, chief of marketing, CEO, the entire organization don't have the basic reports they need to run their business. And here we are building data lake. And I've seen, I talk so many organizations from healthcare and non-healthcare. And by the way, I should have mentioned, this is all from non-healthcare. The discipline and the underpinnings and the technologies is the same, healthcare, non-healthcare. I did healthcare, non-healthcare, and I talked to a lot of organizations in healthcare and non-healthcare. So it's really the same principles. So, and I'm giving examples of chief of marketing and just general business terms. But really so you need all of these three, and they are merging. We'll talk about this in a second. So it's very important to remember, it's use case driven. So you don't jump to the right side unless you have some handle on your kind of the entire stack, and that people are really seeing that you're capable of delivering and stuff like that. So,
Can I just ask
yeah, please.
where you're leading, I think, on some of this is you're really getting a value out of data that you couldn't get necessarily in traditional and older capabilities.
Right.
And so the science in that is figuring out the value in having the people who can develop those kind of algorithms and methods.
Right.
Much like a computer scientist would, but not focused in a different part of the discipline.
Absolutely. So the insights that you need to generate, if you are getting these insights, you have to be before you spend millions, hundreds, thousands, or millions of dollars, just ask yourself what problem I'm solving. Probably you do. Many organizations, as I said, 90% are in this, and they are extremely happy. I believe everyone will need to go, and at least have the capability to go there to the right-hand side, but please.
The local person who's, in our case, working in the field, wants their localized data. But I think the big data becomes the opportunity to see what nobody's looking for. That's what I think the big difference is. And that's what becomes the differentiator of any kind of business is how do you get yourself a leg up over the next person? And big data gives you that opportunity to look for something that you didn't even think to look for.
You're right. So it's a little bit nuanced. So let me go through the next slide, and I think will become probably a little bit clear how what I'm trying to suggest here. But this is, you are absolutely right. That is, you can get incremental, but you can go deeper, broad or deep, or both. You need to do both. So you look at data. What is data analytics all about, right? There's data. You need to have an action. It's really simple. Again, step back. What is it? That's it. A lot of things in between, of course, easier said than done. But really, at the end of the day, data to drive action. People talk about insight, but really insight to lead to an action. It's an action. You want to do something, improve something, get a leg up. You take data. You have action. But the problem is, even if you have the best analytics, the action drops off. Like you get the best insight, the best knowledge. And many of you probably experience, if you are in the data, you're so excited, you go to the business owner and say, it's amazing. Okay, did you see that? And you just fast forward 2 years, no action. So anyway, but the insight, it's not the problem of the executive or the business leader. It's either the insight. There are many problems. Of course, we'll not go to the details. The insight is not in context, not where it's needed, when it's needed, too much, too little, and a lot of other things. So if you look at this, so capabilities, if you have business impact and capabilities, and I will go a little bit faster. So if you look at, we do reports, we do dashboards, then we do big data, you do advanced analytics, you build algorithms, but you're stuck in a loop. That's why, and the loop is this. Where are you going to present the insights? You do the best insight. At the end of the day, you have an interactive dashboard and report that customer-facing, and someone will have to go to your portal or get an email the report, they open a report and they look at it. That is obsolete. And the progression of all of this is like, the good example is directions. When you used to go directions, you go, this all maps, and before you go, you spend half an hour before you leave the house, and and it just highlighted and all of that. And then when we can input and output, like destination and origin and destination, and you print out a map, oh, like, my God, the directions. And then all of that is, so you see what this progressing. And then it's very interactive. You pick up your phone, and it changes dynamically. In the old days when you used to print out the direction, if you take the wrong exit, you are just, I'll start all over. So that gives you a sense. Now it's like I pick up my phone and it says, 15 minutes to Wilshire. I'm like, who asked you? How do you know my work is at Wilshire? Anyway, so the phone will present that to you. So you're stuck in this loop. So that's why they keep seamless application and workflow integration. That's what really the power. So a physician in front of a patient, if I give a physician as an example, he's not going to go click, oh, hold on 1 second, let me go report, go to the portal, pull out. It's not going to happen like this. You have a patient, very complex case. It will be sifted, data will be sifted through, presented. Okay, the patient in front of you has not done their colorectal screening test in 10 years. Order one. Thank you. I don't want to look at reports. I don't want to look at sift through anything. So that's kind of what we are talking about. And that business applications and everything, if you slowly but surely, if you pay attention, everything is moving in that direction. So, all right, future analytics platform. Makes it easier, right? It's blending. It's going to be cloud. I'm telling you, if you're reluctant, if your organization is reluctant, many of the analytics is now either cloud only or cloud first or cloud only. So if you look at the case, even Watson is available only in the cloud. Microsoft developing all of their capabilities, analytic capabilities, advanced analytics in the cloud and making it as an integrated platform. So that's the future. So you don't have to have, the choice. You can start with self-serve, with traditional BI, move to self-service, do big data. It makes it much easier. You don't have to do this huge investment because you can plug and play. So that's kind of what's happening. And it will be cloud, hybrid platform, that provide full set of capabilities. I will not read all of a full set of capabilities right there in the cloud. And they call it intelligent cloud. So again, Microsoft talks about intelligent cloud and intelligent edge. So the intelligent cloud is all your data, all your algorithms, is all your operationalization of all of this stack. And then the edge is the edge you presented to your user. So complex algorithms will deliver prescriptive. It's very important. Keyword, prescriptive. It tells you exactly what to do. The patient in front of you needs X, Y, Z. The customer who you are talking to right now on the phone is do X, Y, Z. And that's what Harris, we invented the what do you call it? The casino industry. You walk into to check in, and the prescriptive. The person across the desk from you knows exactly. They will not sift through data and put you on hold for half an hour. It tells the operator exactly what to tell you, exactly what the incentive present to you. And there's multiple studies that are done on what Harris did for analytics. But anyway, so in context, in workflow, embedded, minimal latency. Latency is very important. No, I didn't say specifically, I didn't say real time. It's latency. It's not real time. You could go, I mean, ideally you could go to real time, but not every use case has to have real time, as close as possible to the business requirements. Okay, so takeaways. Did I hit the time? All right, so takeaways. Make sure your analytics, as we talked about, strategy address the 3 capabilities. It's really important because it's needed. It's needed. I mean, some people say, why do I need to do self-service? It's important. In some way, form, or shape, you have to enable the knowledge. The hardest thing is that I call it the handshake between IT and analytics. Between IT and analytics, in this case, and the business, where you have to make sure that this handshake happens. Otherwise, you will be irrelevant, and people will do what they need to do to get the business running and do the things they need. Make sure that it happens. It's one great way of doing it is that self-service. Okay, avoid big bang approaches. Use case-driven approach. It's really important, especially now. It's much easier. You can build a platform, build it small, build it on the cloud, experiment, and start pushing things out. Prepare for a future where analytics is algorithm-driven, cloud-based, prescriptive, inflow, in-context, timely, seamless, embedded, and closer to real time. There are some words that repeated mean the same thing probably, but that's kind of what where I believe where we are heading, and context. Thank you very much.